Well, welcome everybody. Today is September 7th, 2021. This is the Hannah City Village Council meeting. So if everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Okay. First thing is recognition of guests. We got Lieutenant Butterfield here from Peoria County Sheriff's Department. So,
hello, Lieutenant Butterfield. I'm in charge of community policing for the county of Peoria. Unfortunately, now I'm a third shifter, so it's a little hard for me to sometimes make the meetings every month. And there's about 8 different villages that have contracts of certain to stick with us. So, on top of that, I also have 3 little ones of my own that run me wild. For the months of January through August for Hannah City this year, we've had 117 total police reports. That's including criminal, non-criminal, and supplemental reports altogether. There was 2 motor vehicle accidents. I want to kind of go further into that one because I thought there was a few more than that. 2 seems kind of low, but I know of at least 2 that I could find reported. I'm going to have to call dispatch and have them do a little bit of an audit to see if I can figure out if that's actually accurate.
yeah, we get a copy of the report from the Sheriff's Department every month. So, I think I've seen a couple more motor vehicles.
Out of some of the highlights, there were 9 theft or retail thefts reported, 4 battery or domestic batteries, aggravated assaults or regular assaults, there were 3, criminal trespass to property were 4, criminal damage to property there were 4. There was 1 burglary reported, 1 case of telephone harassment, 1 incident with a suspicious person, 2 violation order protections, 1 case of forgery, there was 1 warrant arrest, 2 hit and run accidents, 1 case of unlawful use of a weapon, 1 DUI, and 1 exploitation of elderly. That's kind of the highlights. There was a lot of other supplementals and just conducts or
That was January
to
April?
January to August, to the end of August.
Well, it's a hard thing to do.
Plus with, I know on top of that, they also help respond to a lot of the EMS calls and stuff like that when they can be.
And with COVID protocols, those numbers are actually a little down because our dispatch has implemented a COVID protocol, and we're back into it again starting 2 weeks ago, where if fire doesn't deem police are necessary, they're only going to dispatch fire and paramedics. If we're in town and we see the fire trucks going, we hear it on the radio. A lot of times our guys will self-dispatch, but we might not hear it if we don't see it. We might not hear it.
Right.
Any other questions?
I was going to ask, any other questions?
We've had a pretty quiet year so far, to what I've been made aware of. There's been a few incidences where they were a little more serious, but we took care of them right away.
What do you guys do if you see like UTVs, ATVs on the roads?
Well, everyone's got their own discretion, and every officer is a little different on how they respond to those. Me personally, I've had a few kids run from me, so I try to educate by stopping them, talking to them, warning them, telling them, because I had one run from me pretty early in my career where it turned into them getting into a pretty serious accident. And that's kind of made me hesitant on wanting to light them up, give them tickets, because that just makes them want to run, in my opinion. They know they can go places our cars can't, and they will. A lot of villages have implemented ordinances to where they allow licensed certain ones. Every village is a little different. Some, Princeville, I think, is only golf carts.
That's what we are, golf carts.
But some now have started to allow some of the UTVs with all the same safety measures in place. Safety belts, doors, turn signals, headlights. I think one I read they have radial tire mandate on. So like an on-road tire. It's basically a Ford Ranger at that point, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That might have been Princeville, actually, that I'm thinking of now. Chillicothe's only golf carts. Brimfield has one that they allow almost anything. It's a licensure fee. I think most of them are about $100 a year to get the sticker. And they have to be inspected by somebody at Village Hall, usually.
Right.
So, out in rural county, it's unfortunately, we don't see it where they run. A lot of times it's just a general report to document it. I like to give people a warning and maybe write a report about it so other officers can see that those people have been warned if they're being reckless. But again, you're relying on someone to stop for you and not take off, go through the woods or what have you. You're not the only village that have the issue. Bellevue has a huge issue with ATVs right now going on the trail that runs clear out to here. So you might be seeing some of the same people.
Yeah.
I think it more what we are having here, at least me in the office, it's the golf carts. We permitted 6 last year, and that's an annual thing.
Yeah.
I have 0 this year. There's all kinds of golf carts. I caught a girl going across 116 on a golf cart. Obviously, she's not got a permit. It's not been inspected.
Yeah.
Had a kid laying in the back of it, unrestrained.
I can put a message out to I'll put it out to our other lieutenants on second and first shift as well, and talk to the officers in briefings about trying to stop some of these people and encourage them to come to the village hall.
Yeah,
I mean, I think with the
any-
golf carts, just ask
Stop
them to
them
see
and-
their
yeah.
permit, and if they don't have one, remind them that they need to come up, and then
I mean, technically, if they don't get permitted, they're liable just like every other vehicle on the roadway. They could get a handful of citations, and typically we don't do that unless it's an accident involved.
The thing that worries me the most is I live on 2nd Street and I can sit and see 116 from my couch. Problem is I see a lot of times later in the evenings of the UTVs going down 116.
And that
So by the time I would make a call, they'd either be turned or gone by the
and
time.
it doesn't matter what ordinance you guys have. They can't go. They can only do a 90-degree on state highways.
Yeah, and they're doing
So,
Yeah,
30, 35 miles an hour all the way
I
down.
follow-
there's several that'll run through town. I've
Yeah.
followed them from the start of town through the end of town.
I followed
They'll run the
Casey's
turn lane so they're
the other
safe.
day. The guy, they just drove down to Casey's to get gas.
that's
Pulled in to get gas,
unfortunately
and
that's
so
not
I went
common.
up and talked to him.
And the more popular these things are, the more we're seeing this.
Yeah, and I don't want to, I know they're fun and people are allowed to have them and that's not a problem. But I think as a village, we have to, make sure we have some way to enforce that, and we do have the ordinance for that. So
I'll put some messages out to the guys when they're out here.
Yeah, the only thing that's
Drive around,
legal
stop
is
people.
permitted golf carts. Everything else is illegal.
Okay. All right.
anything else from the board right now? Thank you, Lieutenant. You're more welcome to stay if you
Yeah,
want
I'm gonna stick
to.
around for a little bit.
Okay.
For sure. As long as I can.
Thanks for this.
You guys have a recorder that would want this.
Me. Thank you.
And
Mike West and Danny on.
okay, and Rob.
Oh, and Ron.
Yeah. So, Mike, you want to say anything? Or you just here to observe?
Served or
Okay. And Mr. Goalie, you're muted.
Yes, sir.
Did you have any public input, or are you just here for the meeting?
Only the fact that next time someone wants to just watch me pick up barricades by myself, they should help. But other than that, I'm fine. I'm just here.
Okay. Next time I'll help you.
Okay.
Danny, did you have any input, or are you just here for review the meeting?
Just here to watch or listen.
Okay. Thank you, Danny. In front of you, everybody should have a copy of the previous meeting, August 17th minutes. If you haven't looked over those, take a look at them. Is there any corrections that need to be made? Anybody see? No input, no correction.
Motion, we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion by Johnson, a second by Weaver. Everybody's here. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Everybody should also have a copy of the treasurer's report in front of them. Lori, is there anything special they should be noticing or looking?
Just there's probably always going to be more warrant reports now than the typical.
Any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding bills?
So moved. Second.
So I have a motion by Weaver, second by Gates. Thank you. Roll call then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's money being spent. So, yeah. So, Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Brandon, are you alive on there, sir?
I am.
Dance floor is yours, sir.
That might be against an ordinance. We completed the MFT work last week. Brian, I appreciate the staff's hard work there. I think it went well. They'll sweep the rock here in a week or two. Then we will process the invoicing. Lori, with working with you to make sure that everything's in order so we can approve and process the invoice once they complete the work. But I thought it was successful. I appreciate everybody's hard work, and that's all I have.
And I haven't made it down there to take a look at that, but Brian said he drove down there and he said that the little extra cost we spent on that chip was a lot better grade than we've had in the past. So,
Yeah, the guys were real happy with that. They were happy that's the route that we went. So,
Agreed.
I drove on it, gosh, probably 30 minutes after they did it, and I was surprised how it didn't, kick up or stick like it used to.
You didn't get tar on your car?
No.
Did they do the same thing? Did you hear all that about down on Green Gold?
Because it rained on
Oh,
the prime coat.
the prime coat.
They never got they got rain on them.
Thank you, Brandon.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Connor.
Good evening. So, Brian, does everybody have the annexation spreadsheet?
They do not. The memo of annexation, is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Now, what he's talking about is, if you remember, we were going to do that. We went back and did all the historical annexations. So it was a 58-page document. We did everything but one property, I think, or 4 or 5 properties that had some issues. But we went ahead and that's been filed with the county, so that's done. But we have just a handful more to do, right, Bill?
That's correct. Nice work though on that from your end as well. And so with pre-annexations, those that don't touch, you have the option, but not the requirement by state law, to file a memorandum of that annexation. Primarily, it helps you and the landowner, helps the county know that they shouldn't be coming out there and regulating or inspecting the property if there's something going on, some construction going on. They're under our building codes now and our ordinances. The state statute that covers pre-annexation says whether you record a memorandum or not, everybody's deemed to have notice of that. But we've just found it just helps with the county to have it out there in the chain of title. So that's what that's about.
So basically, this came up because I think a while back, Caleb, you had concerns because we had the one variance that somebody didn't know. So that problem should now be solved, with the exception of those handful, 4 or 5 properties that we have left to do.
Yep. And then Illinois American, as you may recall, this is those of you who are new. That we had issues with Illinois American and their master meters and some overtopping of the water tower and things of that nature. And we got notice that they had applied for sort of an exception to certain documentation they would have to prove for their next rate increase. We also noticed that conveniently the village of Bolingbrook in the Chicago suburbs had objected as well. And so we decided that we'd, maybe improve the clarity of our negotiations with Illinois American by filing a similar objection to the rate increase that Bolingbrook did. So that's still working its way through. We're just monitoring it. We basically filed the same stuff Bolingbrook filed originally to preserve our objection. Seems like Illinois American is more cooperative nowadays with those kind of issues. But as of right now, unless you tell us differently, we'll just monitor that thing. Its next step, there'll be an evidentiary hearing, which we'll just monitor. That's probably going to be November. And Bolingbrook has been a little bit less involved. I'm not sure why they didn't show up at the last phone hearing. And that guy might have just been on vacation or something. I don't know. But that is the status of that matter. Are we doing better with them? Are they?
I think so. In the time I've been here, I don't know that we've had any significant issues that I'm aware of.
I haven't heard anything, recently from, Mike or anybody. So I assume it's going okay.
It's just the same wall.
Yeah, we're just still dealing with the same water loss that we have been, Bill. So
really, geez.
Yeah, and we're working on with RCAP. RCAP, they're going to come out and give us some help on maybe finding some of that stuff.
But right now we don't think it's Illinois American.
We don't think so, but honestly, we don't really know. Our next best guess is probably meters. At least that's for some part of the meters. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that's all I have to report on at this phase of the agenda. But if anybody else has questions, I'm happy to field them.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
So, don't forget you tonight. The administrator's report.
Hey, if you remembered. So in your packet, you've got a one-page sheet. I'm not going to go through all of it, but I do want to hit a few highlights. Just to let you know, we did receive our first American Recovery Act first installment of $81,000. We've reviewed the spending criteria, and based upon that, we think the best use at this point, and we've talked about it here previously, is infrastructure, either maintenance or repairs or new for water and sewer. We've got a lift station. I think it's the Jodan Court lift station that we're going to talk about tonight. And we've got Jim's working on some projects on the meter side that we want to use that money for. So it's a little different. We actually already got the money. We just have to report on how we've spent it. I don't know if they don't like how you spend it, what they do to you after the fact, because you've already got the money. So, we're going to obviously do everything we can to follow the guidelines, but I think we have until 2026 to actually report out how we spend it.
October 31st is our first reporting.
Yeah, I think in terms of, well, we can talk about it. There's multiple, you're right, there's multiple ways to report, but it depends partially on what kind of entity you are and so forth. But anyway, we're working on that. The financial audit, Lori and I are going to meet with the auditors Thursday this week to review that, and then they're coming to the next meeting, September 21st, to review the financial audit for last fiscal year. Brandon talk about MFT, so spray patching's done, crack filling's done, oil and chip is done. The only thing left to do is sidewalks, and we're having a contractor issue there, so we're continuing to work on that. We talked about recording the undocumented properties for the annexations. I had mentioned earlier that we have this PFAS chemical that Illinois American has said is in the water. Apparently there's no imminent danger, but we are with using their communication and putting that in this billing. So the people that get your bills this month, that'll have that communication out in it, letting people know that that's in there and that they're working to get that corrected and fixed. And then I did send off today to EMS the blank fillable version of the TIF developer application. I think they're progressing with the desire to potentially buy that property that we've got over that we use for the public works property. And the first step in the TIF agreement, or having some sort of agreement with them, be them filling out that developer application. So I sent that off today in hopes that they'll get that back to us and then we'll move forward there. So that's what I got.
That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
Not much going on.
Not much going on. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
So down to committee reports. Mr. Johnson?
Yeah. We need water CD. Got me added on as a signatory to all the accounts, so we have a third one in case we need it. 12 months at 0.3%, we're still 30%.
Morton
Matched.
Yeah.
So we
Another one that we found. So yeah.
We just renewed it in place with
renewed in place, yeah, with the match. And then the money market account we have for the general fund used to be they're going to migrate it to a commercial money market account. Used to be a $5,000 minimum balance. Now there's a $25,000 minimum average daily balance. If you fall below that, then you get charged $25 a month. We have $38,000 in the account now, so it's not a problem right now, but we'll have to see if we're going to end up averaging lower than 25, then we may want to not incur the monthly fee and do something else with it. But right now, it's not an imminent problem. Audit presentation 921. About it.
Good work, Deanna.
Welcome.
Thank you, Caleb. Sewer, Mr. Gates?
Okay, I'm not sure, but it looks like there's three different estimates. One is for the removal of what's in the lift station now. And then the other one is for the electrician to do their work, to provide this, hook it up. And then the actual parts. So are we doing them separately?
No, I did the math. The aggregate is 42,441.
Yeah, so did I. So,
Okay.
what do you think?
I'd be looking for something.
45?
Yeah, not to exceed 45.
Not to
or
exceed
something like
45, yeah. So, yeah, this is to fix the lift station at, all it says is,
that. It's Jodan Court.
is it Jodan?
It's, Jim said it's been something that we've looked at in the past, but then we just passed on because we didn't have the funding. The money we would use for this would be the American Recovery Act dollars, so it's applicable. It's not new budget. We would use a portion of a portion of the 81 we've got so far to cover it.
So, yeah, I'd make a motion to not exceed 45,000.
What was the total you said?
42,441.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute.
What's the?
Is that the 32,836 plus the 4,700 plus the 4,905?
Correct.
Yeah. And that gives enough buffer because there's a $700 option for Roy Keys, so that covers that easily. So.
This is for the same one.
Correct.
That's the lift station.
That's for the other lift station.
This is the Jodan Court. The three things that are stapled here together, added together, are 42,441. Those are the three different estimates that are required to upgrade or
To remove, get the parts, install the parts.
Right. I missed a 4 in there, so that's why I was asking.
No, you're good.
I was like, wait a minute, something just not adding up. So I have a motion by Gates.
Second.
Ooh, look at that. Second by Pierce.
He got you.
It's my water time. Let me have my water.
So the motion, just to clarify, is to go ahead and do this, not to exceed $45,000.
And to use the American Recovery Act money.
Yes. I have a motion by Gates and a second by Pearson. Any further discussion? Roll
I had a
call.
question. I had a question,
Yeah, Brent.
if I could. Brian, I just wanted to confirm, I looked that over, and it all makes total sense to me, but regarding permitting, you're simply replacing in kind. You're not expanding capacity or any infrastructure in any way, are you? You're just replacing.
Just replacing.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, no permits, and yeah, you don't need me, so you can go ahead and approve all of that. And, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get sideways with EPA.
Thank you for
Thank
checking.
you.
So roll call it. Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Weaver, streets and alleys.
Hold on. Do we need to vote on that
Check
Elbert
valve.
Court check valve?
Yeah. What's it's over $500.
I guess that's a separate one that he came to the house.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay,
It's in the packet.
yeah, we should.
Got the number 1 on the agenda. Under these senators.
Oh, okay, yeah, 4-inch
That's the one you came down to talk to you about.
check valve. He came down and talked to me and said we needed to put a new one in, and it was gonna be $1,024.19. And I'm not sure who the other one that signed off on it. He said he had to have 2 people sign off on it.
Yeah.
So what fund, is that just gonna come out
I
of?
think we're just retroactive, yeah, it would come out of the budget.
Okay. So I make a motion to pay, the $1,024.19 for the check valve.
There's plus freight on it.
Plus for your salesman.
Unless
Uh,
unless it's still not
Well, how much is?
We already got that.
Can't be that much.
We've already put it in.
Depends on how big it
Check
is.
the invoice for it.
I don't have anything.
I'd say at least $50.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
big.
Is it a big
It's a
thing?
big
That's what I'm
plan.
saying. It
Yeah, it's a
depends on
big
how
Yeah, it
heavy
is
it is.
pretty big, bigger than any check valve I've ever put in. I don't know, you wanna go not to exceed 1,500?
Sounds good.
Okay, I make a motion to pay for the check valve and the shipping not to exceed $1,500.
Motion by Gates,
Second.
second by Johnson. Any further discussion? Roll call at Pearson,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes,
Weaver,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Zidek.
Yes.
Motion carries.
okay, that's all I've got.
Okay. We'll jump the gun again. Not tonight. Okay, Mr. Weaver.
I got a price on the striping on Main Street, both the 2 blocks, Main Street, north and south, 116, and the parking lot between the post office and church.
Okay.
It was from Alex Stevens for $1,400.
How's that compared to some of the pricing we've had in the past?
It's similar. I think the last time that we did it was about $1,200. This is a different guy than we used before, but the gentleman that I talked to and got this guy's name from said that he uses him all the time. And he's usually on his bids, getting his estimates, he's usually the cheapest. So I take his word for it. So
If you wanted to get a comparison, Nate Stroud just did the parking lot of the coffee can.
yeah. What was it?
Nate Stroud.
Nate Stroud.
Yeah, I can text you his information. He is on Facebook as Striping by Stroud or something like that.
Okay. I mean, I can get another quote if you want.
All the striping at the can, I just got his bill was $525.
Yeah. You know how many feet you had?
I sure don't. It was more than 2, I know that.
So I didn't put this on the agenda for a vote, so Bill, we can't vote on it, is that correct? Okay,
That's correct.
so what we can do is I'll put it on the next meeting if that is what you want, Rod, for a vote, and you can just bring the 2 quotes in and we can just decide then.
Okay.
Anything else under streets and alleys?
This was for 3,500 feet, 4-inch line, and 9 handicap places, spots. I'll get a hold of this Nate and we can vote on it next meeting.
Okay, yeah, we'll move to next agenda. Thank you,
That's all I
Rod.
got.
Police and planning.
From 8/22 to 9/4, 19 incident reports. End of report.
It's a busy one.
It does more with finance now than it does.
You work for a living.
You major $55.
Yeah. So, water.
I've got one escrow refund check for a total of $100. And other than that, we heard back from RCAP today saying that that guy that we spoke with before is working on the rate study, and he hopes to have that to us by the end of the month. And that one of his associates is working on the water audit, and that we should hear from that soon. So I don't know what soon means, but hopefully by the end of the month.
The rate study, they're doing both sewer and water, if I remember right.
Yeah.
It was rate study and what else?
Rate study and water audit.
And that's both through RCAP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Sidak, building the grounds.
All right. Jumping ahead a little bit. Cleanup day, still the 20th. I haven't gotten the chance to run around town like I wanted to. Post flyers on all the telephone poles. But
I did post on Hannah City Happenings and on our website today,
Okay.
so.
our fantastic clerk has taken it upon herself to draft up a little flyer that she wanted to post.
I was just gonna have it, but if she did it, it just tells you what you cannot have. And we're just pretty much copying from the last.
Yeah, I didn't put, we got this from PDC.
Okay.
I just posted it though, I mean, it's not on,
Okay.
out to anyone. It's all electronic.
I haven't heard anything different from PDC, so October 20th. So today, the Pet Shop Clinic, I called Big Hollow, I think Thursday, Friday last week. They said they called me back, still haven't gotten back to me yet. I'll give it till maybe this Friday till I call them again. Maybe an email. And then hot ticket item tonight is this nice little ordinance here allowing us to sell surplus property owned by the village to basically private individuals. It's all kickstarted by one of our employees wanting to buy an old mower deck. And Brian, I gotta ask you, did Roger send you the list?
Well, I gathered input from all the staff, and then Lori and I used the insurance information to kind of put the specific details in. My understanding was, and Bill can correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's on the list, it doesn't mean we have to sell it. But if it's not on the list, then we shouldn't sell it. Is the way I understood it from Michael. I do think we need to have some discussion about how we do it. I don't know if we want to publicize a day and have it all out at the Public Works building and let people come by and say, and put in bids. Or if we just want to list it on Hannah City Happenings and let people put in bids that way, or both of those things. Obviously we want to get the most for each of the things that we're selling. Even if there's somebody on staff that makes a bid, if somebody else is going to make a higher bid, then I'd rather get more money. So I guess I'd like a little input and your thoughts on the mechanics of how we go about it. If we approve the ordinance, then how we go about selling it.
I would say that we'd have to do a posting on it, but not on Facebook or something like that, because there'd be too many back and forth. Well, I bid it for.
Motion or a second to discuss. So.
We do.
Well, do you want sealed bids?
I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not done this before, so I'm trying to figure out what the best.
It says in the ordinance here, sold in a manner deemed most appropriate. by the village administrator. So Brian's got control of that without any requirement of public notice, advertisement, public bidding, or further proceeding.
We'll have kind of like a cakewalk then.
They have to bring you a cake.
I guess I'm looking for some input as to how to do it. In my mind, I was thinking we'd have a day where we put it out at the Public Works building and let people come by, and I don't know if they write down a bid and give it to us, and whoever's got the highest at the end of the day.
Sealed bid by a certain date. Some of these items should probably have a minimum. We don't want somebody buying a lawnmower for $10. So
Why? I need one.
So I'd say sealed bid with some of these items having a minimum bid and some of them having no minimum bid, probably. Make it easy.
Like that.
Yeah.
That mixer.
Make it really, yeah. I'm guessing that'll have no minimum.
It's in poor condition.
Yeah, unknown make and model. Yeah.
This ordinance will also allow us to just dispose of our private property if no one wants to buy it. You know, if we got half, I think they said a sprocket set.
Socket set.
Socket sets. If there's like half missing, we can just jump it if we want. We don't have to keep it for someone to buy. It's sold as is condition. So this is basically giving us just a lot more freedom on what to do with our unwanted.
So Bill, do you see any concerns with us maybe publicizing the list with the minimums where they're applicable next to it, and then allowing people to bring sealed bids into the village hall? I'd collect them, and then whatever the highest one is that's who we would sell it to. Does that work?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, the hardest part, I think, for people buying things like this is to have a clue what it's worth or what your expectations are. I think that helps a lot. Yeah.
Okay. You definitely post a list on Hannah City app and put the flyer on there on their website.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a Hannah City marketplace too, because I've been selling stuff left and right on all that stuff.
All your stuff.
We could post it, but we're not selling on there.
I'm out of here.
All right, we'll do it. I guess we need to vote on the ordinance.
Wait for a motion.
Motion.
So, a motion by Johnson, second by Sidak.
What was the ordinance number?
The ordinance number is 21-09-01. An ordinance authorizing disposal of sale of surplus personal property owned by the village of Hannah City.
Roll call.
Huh?
Do you need to roll call that?
I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Man, this is just stuff that we've had. Jim and Roger and Tom and everybody says we don't need to have, don't need. So it'd be good to get rid of this stuff and hopefully make room in the if and when we get a new building. So any further discussion? Roll call at Gates.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Sidak.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Anything else under buildings and grounds? Sir? Next item up is discussion, the coffee can parking lot lease. Should have a copy of it in your packet.
So if you remember right, last time we talked about, you guys voted to give me the permission to create the lease and negotiate and do that kind of stuff. And then bring back the parameters for you guys to look at. And then once we did that, Michael felt like we needed to have an ordinance. What you have in your documents is a resolution, but I got today from Bill that it needed to be an ordinance. And so we've got the actual ordinance printed off for them to sign up here. Yours says resolution, it's actually an ordinance. What you need to, I'll give you the highlights. If you go to the ground lease, if you go to the picture on the last page, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a rectangle on the far right, runs right along North First Street. It's kind of runs from 116 all the way down to where you can kind of see like a white vehicle. So that grass area. You follow me? So that is village property. And we're trying to help the Coffee Can by giving them some additional parking. And so we looked at, can we sell it? Can we lease it? What are all the different options that we could look at to do that? We decided leasing was the best option. That's the area we're talking about. And then basically the highlights of the lease are that it's 2 years or less, and then it can be renewed. We took the cost of surveying, which I believe that we're working on right now, and the legal cost, and divided that and then set it up for a 2-year payment. So the cost for year one would be half of those costs, and year two would be the other half of those costs. And when we renew, we had it renewing at $1 a year, but if we have additional costs, we can renegotiate that when we renew. We would split the cost of the remaining area that needs to be paved between us and the Coffee Can. The Coffee Can would be responsible for putting a fence at the south end to make it a distinct parking area. The Coffee Can would be responsible for signage, maintenance, enforcement, all of those things for the life of the lease. Those are the key things that are built into the lease. I think I covered everything. This would be another vote later, but once we know what it would cost, my suggestion would be is that we don't take that out of budget, but we spend some of the BDD dollars that have been coming in, because that's the type of thing, economic development stuff that those dollars are available for. So it wouldn't be an impact to the budget. We would use the newfound money on the 1% BDD to pay for it. I think that's everything. So I don't think we have to vote on the lease agreement, but we do need to vote on the ordinance allowing us to move forward and enact the lease agreement.
So the next thing in your package should be in the ordinance number 21-09-02, an ordinance approving the ground lease by and between the Village of Hannah City and the Coffee Can LLC. Ron, do you have any idea what the remaining cost of the paving would be?
I do not. Because the guys that did the parking lot, that would be too small for them to come down and do now. So he would not come down. So that would be the cost that I would know off the top of my head. But I can get the bids for it to be done. I'm guessing in the vicinity of 8 to 12. And then you're going to have the blacktop tie-in after that.
So this takes the governance and maintenance and all that responsibility away from us, and the liability away from us as the village. It gives the Coffee Can additional parking and helps support that business, which we have an investment in. 2 years from now, we'll reevaluate it depending on if Ron continues to want to develop and go east, and we talked about dead ending that, so that might change everything in a couple of years. We'd have to relook at what we're going to do with those roads in that space.
Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 210902?
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Sidak. Any further discussion? Roll call it. Weaver,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Gates,
Yes.
motion carried.
Hey, Mr. Mayor,
Do I need to vote?
would you vote on this one? Because it's a super majority vote of the corporate authorities, which include you, and we gotta have 6.
I vote yes.
Thank you.
That was gonna be my next question to you, Bill, if I had to or not, the majority.
You're out ahead of me, sir.
Well, I got this great book I had to start reading. Huh? I know, I said that. Did you ever hear anything back from him? No. Okay.
Ron, did you hear anything from Rocket?
Not yet.
I can't remember his last name.
Joshua, I don't remember. Do you remember his last name?
Powell.
Joshua Powell.
Powell, that's right.
Yeah. So Joshua Powell, who is one of the owners for Rocket Communications, would like to get telecommunications into the village of Hannah City. He's talked with Ron. I'm trying to get him in and get him going, as Mid-Century is still working on trying to get everything going. Talked to Josh, and he's got a bump out right there on Ron's property that he can use those lease lines to get Ron fiber connection, so he can start running his POS system, and he can start training his employees and stuff. So, and this doesn't stop any other wire or fiber services from coming into town. It just basically says we're going to treat them all the same. And we authorize him to bring his services into town.
Yeah, so basically we just took a look at a basic kind of generic telecommunications agreement that we could use for any company, and modified it a little bit for Rocket Communications. But if we have another telecommunications company that comes in and wants to offer services here, then we could use the same template and vote on them as well. So at the end of the day, competition is probably a good thing for the village. If there's more than one person offering services, then hopefully that would be a good thing for everybody.
Just the same one the Midwest is getting, or?
The agreement's a little different, but yeah, I mean, it's the same basic principles, and they're giving them the same rights and rules and regulations and everything. Yeah.
And this also does have the language in there about the telecommunications and everything too. The ordinance we've already passed, and will
For the tax.
Huh?
For the taxes.
Yes. That will be starting January 1. So do I have a motion?
Motion to pass ordinance 21-0903.
Motion by Weaver.
Second.
Second by Johnson. Any further discussion? And we'll roll call it. Johnson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Gates?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Do I need to vote on this one too, Bill? You're muted, Bill.
I don't believe so. I think you're good on this one. Lower number of votes.
Motion carries. So we'll get a copy of that to them, and hopefully that will get back to us and let us know on that. I didn't have any correspondence this month. Is there anything else that needs to come before the board this evening? next board.
I guess I just have a question. When did we leave? We left Tuesday. Wednesday morning, somebody, my daughter couldn't tell me who it was, came and dug up my driveway, said that there was some kind of problem, gas leak, something like that. Did you guys hear anything about that?
No.
Okay, well, they dug up my driveway, and my daughter said they worked out there for a couple days. And then when we got home last night or yesterday afternoon, there's it's like they covered the driveway again, but the guys brought rock out there for me, gravel. Half of it is in a pile covering the culvert so the rainwater can't get through it. And then there's a big, huge, probably 4.5 foot tall mound of dirt just sitting out there in my neighbor's yard right at the light pole. And they ain't been back.
You know who it was?
I have no idea. And what I do know is Ameren this morning, somebody drove up to Ameren and went to my neighbor's. And I didn't catch him before he left. And he looked like he was one of them guys that had the stuff for to check a gas leak or something. So I don't know who it was. They didn't have anything on their shirts, nothing on their helmets.
Is it anything to do with, they're putting the new transformers over at Hog Trough on the corner there? Apparently this happened last week.
Well, there were, I know before we left, there were blue and white arrows pointing all over the road.
The jewel marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't
would
know
call
who
it Ameren.
It's got
nobody, came. They came to the door and said they had to dig up my driveway, but they didn't tell my daughter who they were.
Might check with Jim because he would have had to go out and mark it, so he would have got
That's true.
Well, it's no big deal because they put everything back. What the big deal is now is culvert is full of rock.
Yeah.
And
There is
needed
the Julie
cleaned up.
request, so
Okay.
they should have the Julie request.
And then all that, dirt they left there.
Yeah, I think they have a second crew that comes out and does the cleanup and puts down like grass and
Like if
stuff
they tear up your yard,
Yeah.
they'll normally come
Yeah,
back.
they didn't tear up my yard, just the driveway, before
They
you-
still have a requirement. I don't know to come back and fix it.
But I don't know that they have a time.
Yeah, it took a couple months, I want to say.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because there's a huge pile of
It was a
dirt.
while before
Yeah.
they came and put grass seed down. And
Mm-hmm.
it still wasn't the greatest job, so
Well, I don't need no grass seed.
you just got to make it to November.
What's your address, John?
What's that?
What's the address?
111 Llewellyn, Luellyn place.
It's intercom.
Oh, no kidding.
They're a subsidiary, aren't they?
No, they've been doing
Intercom?
some of their work. When was the date on this?
Well, we will follow up.
108's next door to you then, so
He's on the end. Yeah.
it's probably this. Received
Across the
826.
street or
Dig start
something.
8:30.
Dig start 8:30. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds about
That's
right.
it. It's Intercon, and Intercon's the same one that came through and bored all the new services in town, bored through our sewer line, left all the sinkholes in my yard and the duplexes next door. And then when they came back and called me after complaining to Ameren, they only filled half the holes in my yard. I told them, go up by the house. I came home and they didn't fill any of the holes up by the house, so.
So apparently you won't get it fixed.
No, I may still have the number from the guy at Ameren that I
When
called.
is what, they don't
Here's
come
the
take
phone
care of
number
that
right
dirt. What?
Yeah, we've got a contact phone
This
number.
guy.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll reach out to them.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Wanakee, Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's their contractor for him.
Because I'm sure the guy who bought the house doesn't want to have to deal with that in October or November.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, so. Any further discussion? Next board meeting will be September 21st, 2021, 7 p.m. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Brandon. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Ron.
And real quick, is everybody gonna be there tomorrow or the partial people? What?
But we all can't be there at the same time
Why?
because it's quorum.
Ron invited the board to do a coffee tasting tomorrow at 10.
That can't apply to all functions of life, though. We can all show up at a birthday party at the same time.
Oh, come on.
Not go to jail.
I know.
That does not apply to all functions of life.
Hey, if he's gonna let me chase coffee, I'm gonna be there.
What the city of Peoria does, they put a notice of potential majority of a quorum. So they'll say, oh, the Peoria Municipal Band concert is coming up. It's possible that a majority of a quorum of the city council will be present. They put that on their website and they put it on their bulletin board there at City Hall. And they
I don't think we're going to have a quorum because I know you can't go. Are you going?
Is this a legal thing? Y'all can't be in the same room at some time together or what?
regarding city business, it's a meeting, so you have to post it.
Yeah.
48 hours in advance.
Coffee tasting, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but we could discuss the city business, and then therefore it would be an unethical meeting. But you're not going.
Promise I will throw any race with my way to discuss the city business.
So who's for sure? Todd's for sure. Well, you're not. Rod's for sure.
I hope. I don't know.
So we're only going to have 2 or 3 board members there,
Yeah,
anyway,
so we should be okay. Because I don't know if I will be there or not, but we could still. If we had to, we could post something to the website. Couldn't we?
We'll just put something on there that 365 days a year we mailed all the McGills at the same time eating dinner. A freaking joke.
Can anybody get a hold of old man of Steer?
Anybody get a hold of
Lori will.
Let Bill steer now.
Bill?
He's invited.
He's inviting him up there.
Oh, okay.
Lori says she'll do it.
And you've already reached out to Fred, Ron?
I've already reached out to Fred. He's got a pork action going on at 10 o'clock. He won't be there till 10:30, but.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.